join today's lecture. Last time we talked about two kinds of variables, tuple and list. This week we are going to continue to do more, to introduce more. Okay, so some standard types, just a review. You can do integer, you can have floating numbers, you can have strings, basically characters. You can have Boolean, true or false. Tuple, use a rounded bracket. List, use the square bracket. And the tuple cannot be changed. List can be changed. So, this time we are going to talk about sets. Okay, so over here you can see you can have inputs and so this is just for you to understand that you can basically have, it's like a vector of items. Okay. Let's take a look at the example. So over here you can see this is like a in MATLAB this is called set. So it's like a if you have contents that you want to collect them inside a series of like a container, then you can use a set. Okay, so let's try it. Okay, let's try it. So if you go to Python, and let's try to follow what the PowerPoint recommended. So there are two ways of building a set. So one is use this large bracket. The other one is just use the variable, the method set. Okay, either way, and you can add content inside the set. So if I remove this and run the code again. So originally it was A, B, and C inside the set. You can add content inside the set. So I add one content into the set. You can remove content from the set. So for example, if I remove component A, then the content A was removed. And you can also use discard. So if I discard discard P, then that component was removed. Okay, so this is a different type, different variable type compared to tuple and list. This is another way to have a vector. Okay, so this is quite simple. I think I will. Or you can also. If you use pop, it will randomly remove an element. Okay. This is quite simple. Very similar style to the list. So I'm not going to take too much time. Let's take a look at the next variable. We can practice later on. Actually, dictionary is utilized even more compared to set and the other two variables. So what's a dictionary? Dictionary has two important features inside. The first thing is called a key. The other thing is whatever you have for that element, the value. So when we have a tuple or a list, we wish to have a vector of content. But whenever we need to get values from that vector, we need to identify which one. We need to specify the index. So, for example, if I have this keyboard is crazy. Okay. So if I have a list, then if I want to get, for example, the third element, then I need to say this keyboard is very bad. Okay. So, okay. If I want the third one, then the index is 2. So from the screen you can see the third one is being printed right here. But I have to know 3 is at the position, the index 2. So there's a good, if you have a large vector with a lot of content, then you need to figure out what's the ID of it. So dictionary is a different way to find the content with a special key. So key is a new way to identify where the value is without asking for telling the computer which index. So the way to define a dictionary is actually very similar to set. So the difference is that the set has you didn't define keys. But if you have a text being specified with a column, then what goes first is the key, basically the name of that element. And whatever in the back is the value. So let's try to define a dictionary. So over here, I'm gonna call D1, and oh come on, this keyboard is crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna say content A, column. This keyboard is so weird. Okay, and then I'm going to specify B, and this time I'm gonna give a text. Okay, and maybe another one, C, and over here maybe I will. For example, my name. Okay, or okay, someone must be controlling my computer. I have no idea why. Okay, so let's try to show something inside this dictionary. So print D1. And over here, you don't specify index, you specify a key. Okay, for example, I'm going to say C. And let's try if we print, but this time I'm using the index. For example, the first one. See what will happen. Okay. You can't. Okay. You cannot. Let's, for example, try a different one. You can't. Okay. So you have to use a key. So the one with the key C gives back the value PTL. Okay? So with this, it's easy for you to build a database. Because, for example, one day I'm keying the score of everyone's exam, and the keys could be your student ID, and the values will be the score. And if I'm looking for, hey, what's the class leader's score? I want to print out his score. Then I can just use the score variable, and then the key will be his ID. Then I can get it right away. I don't need to know where I save the data. Okay? And there's a different way to define a dictionary. Okay? The way is you create you are going to create several lists, and whatever that's inside the list, it has to have like two elements, and you put this into like this is like a list with smaller list inside. So whatever you define inside this list, okay, then let me just show you. Oh. Oh. Okay, that's what I want to do. Okay. Okay, I don't know why this keyboard is so crazy. Okay, change another one. Let's change another one. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, maybe it's better. Now, we can have, for example, list one, and here I'm gonna say, for example, some ID and 1, 2, 3, or just an N, like a student's ID and maybe his score, and then a list 2, maybe some other student's ID, and he has 80 for some exam, and I create a larger list. And then I create a dictionary. So here you can say dict, and the list right here. So I'm gonna clean up the memory here, clean up the, just create a new one. Make this cleaner and then run. So over here, I now have several lists. The first two I created were placed in a larger list. And if you use the method dict, and with the way you provided the dict method, Python recognizes, okay, you are going to define a dictionary, and the first element would be the keys, and the second elements would be the values. So that would be another way for you to create a dictionary, like the example right here. So let me see if there's a different way. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Then here there are some operations that you can do with the dictionary. After this, we can start to practice. Okay. So now I already have a dictionary, and let's try those object-oriented functions. So let's take a look first. You can use get, and if you try to get something, but that key doesn't exist, then you can have a additional field, additional input right here, and in return this. So what does it mean? Let's try it. So if I, for example, D now is my dictionary for students' score, and if I'm looking for D get, and I'm trying to get, for example, another person's score, like 003, M003. However, if the dictionary does not have this student's score, that must means I want that person's score to be 60. Okay? So that's, I want to print this out. Okay, so let's see what will happen. So at the end, because the dictionary has no key for M003, so you can have a like a standard output for this get method. Whenever you get nothing, you don't get anything from the dictionary, then return this. Okay? So let's try a different. Let's try a different example. If I say 2, if this is the case, then M002 was in the dictionary, so the value will be got. Okay, so that's get. Now items. So you can items, keys, and values. They are special methods for you to get another variable type. So Python use a special variable type to keep the items or keys or values inside the dictionary. Let me show you what does it mean. So I'm gonna just say DI, DK, and DV. They are going to be the items and keys. Okay, and then the values. So let's see how those look like in the variable space. What happened? Okay, let me see why. Oh yeah, okay. Okay. I don't know why it doesn't like the names. Well, okay. I don't know why it happened. Okay, anyway. So D1 at the end, there's a new variable type called dictionary items, and also dictionary keys, dictionary values. They are objects, dictionary item objects. So you don't directly see what's inside, but they are now becoming objects. And once you you can show what's inside the object. So it's like a special container. It's like a object container that keeps what you had earlier inside. but they specifically mention it's dictionary items, okay, in the form of a list, and the first component is inside the dictionary, inside the list. The first element was formed as a tuple. It doesn't matter because you are not going to vary it because it's already packaged inside the item. So let's take a look at what's inside D2 and D3. Okay. So they are objects, keys objects and values objects. So what's for the keys? Python will, inside the object, it will have a collection of all the keys. Use a list to contain them. And then values, also, all the values. So why do we sometimes do this? Because later on, maybe you would like to do some operation with all the keys, or some operation with all the values. Then you can directly do whatever you want to do with the object, because the object already collect all the keys or all the values. Okay? Now, let's see. Just like this one. So this is a very special operation. I only see this kind of operation in Python. So it's an operation called in. It's a kind of, the response is a Boolean result. It's either yes or no. It's either true or false. So when you say some kind of key and inside a dictionary, the response will be true or false. So let me show you what does it mean. If I say M004 in, then I say D. I want this result to be sure, so I'm gonna say print. Okay. Just print out the result. You realize it's false because inside my dictionary there is no, you don't see the key of M004. Can you do the same for the dictionary keys? I think you can. So you can say D2. This time, let me try a different one. Let me try M002 in D2. D2 now is the key subject with all the keys. So if you do that, yes. So this is a kind of operation for you to check whether something is true or false. Okay, you don't see that in some other language. I didn't see that in the past. Okay, now pop is to eliminate the key and the value from the dictionary. Okay, so let's try. If I say D dot pop and throw away M001. If I do that, then originally I had 2 students score inside the dictionary. After I do that, the first student's score was removed. Okay? And over here you can also compute how many items are there using the variable called len. It's a short name for length, basically how long the dictionary is. So I'm going to, you can basically len and d, okay? It's going to be 1. I didn't print out the result. Print. Okay, so it's gonna be 1. So, I think that's, let me see if they are the things I want to show. Okay, you can also convert dictionary objects into actual list. So I'm going to say D1 list. I hope Python takes it. And I'm gonna say list and D1. No, Python doesn't like it. So how about list of D1? No, okay. Then just change it differently again. E1. Yep. So remember we had I don't, yeah. Let's try D2. D2. D2 will be, I want to do it, let's see, D2 are the keys, so supposedly, okay, that's interesting, let me see. Let me try something and let you know. Okay. So when I created this dictionary item, it's tightly connected to the source. So if the source was changed, then the item is changed as well. So over here, if I did not pop M1, if I didn't pop this one, then the result is very different. Did you notice? Let me show you again. So if I have this after this line, and if I do it again, I'm gonna say this is a E2. Let's see what will happen. So E1 was a list that was created based on D2, basically the keys object. So like I said earlier, when I did this, it's going to create a dictionary keys object. It's linked to D, to the original dictionary. So at the time when I create the list, there were 2 keys. So E1 at the end has 2 items. After that, I pop the first key. Then I create a list again, exact same line, but this time you see there's only one left. But D2 is the object variable, object type. It's basically the keys of the dictionary. So from this sequence, you noticed this keys object is tightly connected to the dictionary. If the dictionary changes, the keys object changes. They are tightly connected. Okay? So try that. Try this to how to observe. Let me show you. You can first print out D2, okay, and then create a list, pop, and then print out D2 again. If you do that, okay, that will be even more obvious. Yeah. So over here, before we pop, D2 was a keys object with 2 keys. After the pop, same command line, the first key disappeared. Okay? So I think all these are not very difficult, but we need to understand why Python is doing this. This is very related to what I mentioned last time. Python is a kind of language that relies on the, you can say, pointer. So some variable is pointed to some content. And when you create the objects, the result is tightly connected to the source. Only if you break this relationship, otherwise they are always connected. Okay, so I want you to practice this just to experience what happened. Or just observe. Every time you do, maybe you can try several lines and then play, see what happened inside the variable, do more, and then see what happened. Because if you type the whole thing and then run, you kind of will miss what happened during the process. Okay? So I will give the screen back to you. Okay. Okay, I think you're still trying. I'll give you some time. I'm not going to cover too much today, so you can, I'll give you time to do it. If you are curious, why do we have a method called in? Later on, we will learn something called logic. Logic is like a very important function, important part of programming. If there is no logic, then our computer code has no intelligence. Okay, it cannot do smart things for you. So just to show you why we want to have something called in, let me just share this and then give the screen back to you, just to quickly show something. So this is not for today, but I just want to show you. There's a kind of logic called if-else. If something happens, do something. Otherwise, do another thing. So it's very easy to understand and easy to read, but you just need to know how to program if-else logic in Python. So if, this is like a kind of over here you basically give true or false to the if function. So this part is basically what we had earlier, checking whether something is inside a dictionary. So this check will return either true or false. If it's true, over here for Python you have to have a column here. Then you will do whatever in the next line. Over here, print yes. Otherwise, do the other thing. So at the end, over here, the dictionary now doesn't have M004, so right here the result shows no. If I change it to M002, then the result will say yes. Just for you to know why we have this kind of operator. This is very commonly used in Python. Okay, just for you to know. Get back to it. Okay. Just let me. Okay, someone is very angry, typing very hardly. Okay, if you're interested, just to understand better in Python, let me just quickly show you something. Just quickly. Sorry. So, exact same code. I just try these. You can try those as well. Let's just try the in method, and let's see how this something inside another thing works for all kinds of variables. Now, what's inside E1? E1 is a list of two contents. They are the keys. If I say MOO2 in E1, you will tell me yes. How about L? L is a list with smaller lists. I got this L from creating a list. How did I get it? L here. It was a list I built. So basically, it's a larger list with smaller lists inside. If you try to find MOO2 inside this list, it doesn't show, you cannot find it because it's a smaller list inside a large list. So the in function just tries to find the first level of L. There's no content of MOO2. It has smaller lists. Okay. How about finding this inside L2? L2 basically is a list I built at the beginning. The first content is exact same thing. So of course yes. How about D1? D1 is the item object. So like I said, it's directly linked to the dictionary D. But if I say, let's try to find MOO2 inside D1, it says false. Because it's an object, and the object has several contents. Just similar idea to the case when you check capital L. It's an object, and inside the object there are smaller lists. So it doesn't directly help you to find it. Now, how about D1? I covered D1. How about D2? D2 is a container, it's an object container that keeps all the keys. So yes, you can, as a result, it finds it, okay? How about capital D? Capital D is the dictionary. So what's special about dictionary is that if you use in, it tries to check the keys, and it will return true. So what's confusing right here is this one and this one. Because this is the item object, D1 is the item object, and D is the dictionary. you can find the content in the dictionary, but you cannot find it inside the item object. Okay, so to master Python, you need to play with all kinds of things and understand better why Python gives you this kind of result. So in the future, you can make good use of those useful tools. Okay, get back to you. Okay. Okay. So the TA just told me the spider version we have right here is not very good. It doesn't allow us to do some of the things. I guess that's why last time we cannot do the debugging. I'm going to take over the screen and I want to cover what I want to introduce today. And then we may need to practice on Colab. So let's continue on the lecture. If you haven't practiced enough, you can do it later on. So, overall, we have introduced three the most commonly used variables: tuple, list, and dictionary. They are defined in different ways. The first one is defined by a parenthesis, the rounded bracket, and list is defined by the square one, and the dictionary is defined by, it's called a curly braces. Okay, I always forget about the name, but the curly brackets, right? And for dictionary, you need to specify the key, column, and the value, comma to separate. When you try to get the content inside, you use the variable name and the square bracket, and then index. Start the index with 0. For dictionary, you can only use the key to get the value. What's special about them? Tuple doesn't change. List can be changed. Dictionary, you can use string to identify a content instead of index. Now, we're going to introduce something called input. So this is also very commonly used when you try to have a program that interacts with the user. For example, you want to give a sentence and you're trying to get something from the user. So the user has to type in something and enter. So whatever that is typed will be the response of this command. Unfortunately, the version of Spider that we have in this computer lab, doesn't allow us to use input. So later on, we need to go to Colab. Okay? So when you do this, I will show you what's gonna happen. Use input, give a sentence, and then when Python run this code, this sentence will be shown on the screen, and the user needs to type in something. And whatever is typed, by default, it's going to be a string. Even you type in a number, it's a string. So if you type in numbers, you want that input to be used as numbers. You need to change its variable type. Okay? So let's try to do that. So since, like I said, we need to move on to Colab. So maybe it's a good time for you to practice Colab. Okay. I probably should start over. So you just go to Google and say Colab. Okay, just go to Google and say Colab, go, and create a new one. It will take some time. Then you can start to program Python codes. So over here you can say x equals to input, and here you can say tell me your height in centimeter. Okay, and then y equals to input, tell me your weight in kilogram. And then I forget it's called BMI, right? BMI is weight over height, but in meters. Okay, so
print your BMI equals to, so here I'm going to do some calculation. Basically, weight is going to be y divided by your height, but your height is in centimeters, so divided by 100 and then square root. Right, so that's gonna be your BMI. Okay, let's play with this. So my height is 180. My weight probably 100, I think. So, sorry, I forget to convert them into numbers. So I'm going to convert the y into integer, and then convert the x into integer as well. But at the end, they are integers, so the calculation are going to be integers. So I think I better convert to float. So I end up with floating numbers. So let's try it again. Height 180, 100 kilogram. In Python it's not like this, it's a star. Right? Genesis is star, right? 180, 100. Okay, that's my BMI. It's overly weighted. So, star means power of 2. Okay, so let's try this. Let's check your BMI. So you need to go Google and say Colab, C-O and then lab, L-A-B, Colab.
它密码是旧的，对旧，旧的我们对，小的，你还记得？我记得，你还记得？为什么我会忘记？旧的，那个一车乱码的，对啊。对。哎，我旧的它也有。这个没有，你跟你有，那你可以借我你的吗？我要是这样，你才电脑准备。所以，我的建议，好，那这时候我要拿出我的芯片。为什么会忘记？快惨了。
Okay. Just to show you one more thing. So, please let me present to you just 20 seconds. So, if earlier I had a code, let me show you the difference. So earlier I had a code like this, 180, 100, right? So earlier it was y and x were defined as floating numbers, and when you do the calculation, the result will be floating number. So Python will keep as many digits as you want, as it can, and it will display so many digits at the end. But if you would like to show some results without that many digits, here's how. Wherever you want to show something like a value, then you need to use this percentage symbol. And you need to describe the format you are going to show it. So what does this mean, 3.2f? 3 allowed digits before the point, 2 allowed digits after the point. F means floating number. So this is This is a string. Inside the string, you can always say percentage and with some format. And then after the string with a space, you are going to use another percentage symbol, and you are going to give numbers, give results at the back of this percentage. So whatever that is calculated, either it's a floating number with many digits, it will be transformed into this format and then printed. So let me show you. If I say 3.4, then you will see 4 digits right here after the dot, after the point. See? So you can decide how you display your values on the screen. Okay? So get back to me. By the way, if you are curious how I found this, I didn't memorize this in my brain I just Google. I Google. The keyword was Python. Earlier I said Python string value format. I found percentage formatting, and then I Google for string.format. So there are some Python document right here. Then I come in here and then try to find some important useful information. Then I found there is an example, just exactly like what I plan to present. Okay, so in this class we're not going to cover everything you need to know for we're not going to cover everything about Python. It's impossible. We have only 16 weeks, and some of you may be freshmen for Python or freshmen for programming. I have to just introduce the most simple content. So whenever you're curious how Python will do something, you can just Google for document like this. It has many useful information, on the internet. Sometimes you don't even need a book. Okay, so please, this is one practice, and the other one is a dictionary. Okay. So we had 2 exercises. We tried 2 different things on Colab, and we introduced dictionary. Later on, we're going to have homework for today, combining the dictionary and the input. So you can only do it on Colab. Okay, so okay, so I want you to practice something like this. Let me explain, and then you can work on this. So I want you to build a dictionary with a bunch of fruits and their prices. Okay? So here are several fruits and some random numbers, some random prices. And then I want you to use the way the object variable type to get all the items. So you can easily print out the items on the screen. Just imagine you are a fruit owner and you want to show, okay, here's a list of fruits and the values. So an easy way is just to get an object and print, okay? And then I want you to remove one of the fruit. So after you print, the user will see all these, but you removed one item, one key inside the dictionary. So there's no more pair anymore inside the dictionary. And supposedly your item object is connected. The pair is disappeared. Now, if you use input and ask what do you want to buy, so I want you to get the response. For example, you use a capital X and say input what do you want to buy, and the user is going to say name some fruit, and that the name of the fruit will be saved inside X. And then you are going to make good use of the get function. So basically the dictionary dot get, and over here the first input you are going to put the response over here, and then you are going to give a new number that is not shown in the dictionary. So if someone just type in something random, it's not even a fruit, the get function will in return on this alternative value 30. But if this can be found, for example, the user type in apple, it's inside the dictionary. Supposedly, what you will get at the end is 20. Okay? So then at the end, print out. Here you are going to put the name of the fruit, and here you are going to say, okay, how much? And of course, if someone just say something else, like if the person say pair, because the pair is not in the dictionary anymore. So at the end, pair is going to be $30. Okay? So once you are done with the code, test your own code and then try to answer apple or pear over here. So supposedly at the end, if you do this right, if you type in apple, the price is going to be $20 and the pear is going to be $30, not 21, because it was removed. Okay? So try this. If you're done, you raise your hand and then show show it to the TA, then you are done for today. Okay. The TA wants you to upload your code on Moodle. So once you're done, okay. So once you're done on Colab, you can download your code. You can download your code from where? Right here, download. You can just download the py file. Okay? Once you're done, you can only do it on Colab because in today's computer you cannot do input. So you are going to program right here, and then you are going to download as a py file, upload your py file to Moodle. Okay? So please try it. If you go to Moodle and find it, it's the same thing. What you need to do today is on Moodle as well. You can go check it. Okay, so if you know how to do it, very fast. I just finished. I cannot show you the result. So I just tested the code, it works. So you need to think about what was covered today and combine everything, you should be able to do it. I can show you what my code looks like if you want to take a look. But I'm not going to show you the code. So just give me 5 seconds. Okay. So you are supposed to have a code like this. Show the dictionary items like this. This is my test. So if I say A, then not showing the result. Sorry. So A is $1. And then if I show you again, if I try C, C is $4 because C was removed and in replace I change it to 4. Okay, I want you to try something like this. but I just use a different content. But you need to follow the description here. Okay, it's definitely doable. Not very hard, okay? Get back to you. If you are done for today, then you raise your hand. The TA will come by and check if you already upload to Moodle. If you finish everything, then you can quietly leave the room. Okay, so that's it for today. Any questions? Anyone having difficulty? Okay.